this is making room for the argument of there are more than two genders. I know my conservatives may have some problems with the fact that Google itself is giving some wiggle room for alternative lifestyle people to choose a gender that is not in alignment with male and female sexes. Got to deal with that. And that's fine, right? Because if you're going to speak the English language, you got to abide by the rules. You understand that, conservatives? Good. Male and female is to do strictly with sex. Now, we're talking about gender. We're talking about other things. We're talking about gender is like kind of like sex 2.0. Gender gives more wiggle room for people with alternative lifestyles that don't live the norm of the cisgendered. What does cisgendered mean? Well, let's find out. So what is a woman? Matt fucking Walsh. What is a woman? Matt Walsh, all you had to do is Google. That's all you had to do. You did not have to make that. You did not have to make that documentary, What is a Woman, to make people angry, all right? You trigger a lot of people, all right? You got people to make 2-hour videos talking about berating you, all right? All you had to do is Google. This is what a woman is, man. A woman is an adult female human being. We know what a female is. Don't act like you know what a female is. We saw what a female is. A female is to do with sex, right? I'm not going to look up the word female. We know what a female is. Female is pertaining to sex. We all know this. Look it up if you want to. Waste your time, waste my time, and having a conversation with me if you want to about the word female. Female is to do with sex as an identifier. Get over it. So, an adult female human being. Why are people calling people that were not born female a woman? I'll tell you why. That's why. They're freaking clowns. TERF is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. These people believe that trans folk have no place in women's specific spaces. I believe they have an argument. I believe they have an argument because there's a lot going on right now regarding violence against women in general. Specifically, we have to give credence. We have to respect the fact that women are making the observation that there is violence targeting specifically women. They're getting raped, they're getting beaten, killed. And that needs to be addressed, right? It's gotten to the point where women only feel comfortable in women's only spaces, like a restroom, like a locker room. Anything with a picture of a lady with a dress on, right, and slapped on the door. That those women's only spaces, they feel comfort in these areas, in these spaces. Women's only dormitories, the like, you know what I'm saying? Because there is, I mean, unfortunately, I'm a man, right, and I have to understand. I have to be empathetic to the point of what these women are saying. There is some validity to it. The numbers are not lying. I have to step outside of my bias. I have to step outside all attachment I have with being a man and address and understand that these women, for right now, we will say females. For these females, no, oh God, I forgot. I can't say that. There's the conundrum. Depending on who you talk to, the female can be. We'll get to that point. Hey, women, bear with me for right now. I'm gonna call you females right now, but just bear with me for right now. Females are being attacked, man. All right, biological females, right, are being attacked for being females. All right, do not conflate the struggles of females with the struggles of female acting males. That's more or less like the overarching argument for why women become TERFs, or why they're speaking TERF talking points. regarding the name itself, TERF, yeah, it's more or less, yeah, it's a label that that certain groups of people, or a group, or a type of person with a certain thought pattern, yeah, pseudo Rainbow Coalition aligned people, they use this term to essentially attack women or feminists that don't believe trans folk belong in their circles. That's the label they toss at these women, right? We can say it's inflammatory, we can say it's a derogatory term, but I'm just not the type of person that's really fixated on the respectability of the words that people use, right? I just don't like, if there's a label, like, here's the example, the word black, right? For a lot of people, the word black is derogatory. You know what I mean? Depending on your understanding of what the word black means, right? Had it mean like this color right here, this right here, this is a dope ass sweater, by the way. This from the, I know y'all know Boondocks when y'all see it. But whether you talking about this color right here, or you're referring to a person's biological connections towards Africans, right? Some people don't want to be called black. You know what I mean? So with that said, if somebody is exclusionary to trans folk and women's spaces, sure, they're technically a TERF, right? I don't think, depending on what we understand today, if what I'm trying to say is, if what these women are saying is bound in fact and it's in alignment with reality, then you're gonna have to respect what they're saying, despite them being a TERF, right? A TERF. So I would say, if what you're saying is exclusionary towards trans folks in women's spaces, right? Own it. I mean, black people own the N-word all the time. You know what I'm saying? Black people own like all types of stuff. Now, when it gets to like maybe like more like how do I word this? Like the ER, like hard R's and stuff like that. I can understand the implications, like the racist implications and undertones behind using specific words. They're like, there's emotional baggage that comes along with using such language that kind of that's meant to hurt people, right? So yeah, TERF is meant to hurt people, right? But if what you're saying is still bound in reality, I can say, I can make the argument. I guess what I'm trying to say is, one, I can understand the people that owns this word. That's more or less what I'm saying. But I will make room to understand the folks that don't see it that way, right? I can't make room for people that feel that feel like that impact of emotional guilt or you know, feeling of being attacked when somebody refers to them as a TERF, refers to them as all of these derogatory terms and stuff like that. So anyway, let's continue on. Yeah, so we now know what a TERF is. So now talk about this. What is sex? Everybody understands there's a difference between sex and gender. There are a group of people that are trying to screw this up, trying to muddy things, trying to conflate and all that stuff, and try to make sex, to try to devalue the importance of the labeling of sex and how to label sex, right? Strip away their credibility. They're now humans, right? Whatever they've earned as a person, piece of paper, degrees, all of that stuff, they're now reduced, in my opinion, they're reduced to a regular person. I'll still listen to them. I'll still respect their word, right? But I'm gonna be engaging, especially if what they're saying is in alignment with if it's not in alignment with reality. If I don't care what kind of degrees somebody has, what kind of lived experience, all of that stuff, if what they're saying is not bound in reality, I will be challenging that. And I think everybody here should also, because even if I am wrong, I would like to know why I'm wrong, right? That's how we should go about this. This is what we should be doing as human beings. We should be striving towards understanding better and engaging difficult conversations, even when we know there's a possibility of us being incorrect. Let's define sex. Not the first definition, obviously. Sex is defined as either of the two main categories, male and female, into which humans and most other living things are divided on the basis of reproductive functions. Yes, there's some things in the world that have intersex capabilities, like seahorses that give birth, and all of these bacteria, all types of stuff, whatever, right? But when we're talking about humans, right? We're talking about human beings. We need to understand that there's two of them MFers. And then we can also make room for the possibility of intersex. Let's do a real quick search. Let's do a real quick search real quick. It is estimated that up to 1.7% of the population has an intersex trait, and that approximately 0.5% of people have clinically identifiable sexual or reproduction variations. And there's also a percentage of people, relatively low percentage of people that more or less go against the grain, right? And I believe there are solutions for these types of people, right? I would argue that the people that have intersex traits and all that stuff, they should be the ones. These are the ones that should be speaking up regarding participation in women's spaces. You know what I'm saying? Because they got some other stuff going on. So that's sex, right? Two sexes, male, female, possibly small possibility of having two of having both. You know what I'm trying to say? Gender. This is a big one. According to Google and the Oxford Languages, the Oxford Dictionary, gender is to be defined as the male sex or the female sex. We just looked up the term sex. We just saw it. We just saw the words.
Isn't that amazing?
We just saw the definition of the word sex, right? Especially when considered with a reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. So that's what changes it, right? Now, it started off kind of weird because the basis is sex. It's rooted in sex, but it's more so in line with we can say the cultural and social differences. So it's more or less in line with what a lot of these people, right? A lot of these alternative lifestyle folks have defined gender as. I personally have started using this ideology in my mentality or in my conversations, unless I'm talking to somebody that has a different understanding of the word gender. You know what I'm saying? Because the point of communication is to communicate clearly and effectively. Feel me? So if I'm speaking to somebody that gets sex and gender mixed up, then I'll have to be aware of that. I can try correcting them. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, when I know they're talking about gender, I may ask the question, hey, what do you mean by gender? If they say something that's kind of weird, but ultimately, I'll still make room for the likelihood of them using the word sex and gender interchangeably. Anyway, that's why the definition of range or identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male and female. So again, what this allows for is people such as non-binaries, such as the people that go by all these myriad of other pronouns and stuff like that, zer and ger, all this other stuff. this more so helps them out, right? This means that this is making room for the argument of there are more than two genders. So I know my conservatives may have some problem with this. I know my conservatives may have some problems with the fact that Google itself is giving some wiggle room for alternative lifestyle people to choose a gender that is not in alignment with male and female sexes. Got to deal with that. And that's fine, right? Because if you're going to speak the English language, you got to abide by the rules. You understand that, conservatives? Good. So let's go off what we just learned so far. Male and female is to do strictly with sex. Now, we're talking about gender. We're talking about other things. We're talking about gender is like kind of like sex 2.0. Gender gives more wiggle room for people with alternative lifestyles that don't live the norm of the cisgendered. What does cisgendered mean? Well, let's find out. It is right here. I ain't got to do it. Denoting or relating to a person whose gender identity corresponds with the sex registered for them at birth, but not transgender. So that means practically means a straight person, right? Somebody that just confirms and conforms to the status quo of what's normalized in their current social society. Men dress a certain way in America, men dress a certain way in India, men dress a certain way in Japan, China, Egypt, all over the world. And women dress differently. Those people are cisgender, and if you co-sign to those ideologies or whatnot, that makes you cisgender. Whatever. All right. That's what people, when somebody labels you, when somebody calls you cisgendered, that's what they mean. Unfortunately, if you don't like it, you unfortunately have to deal with it. Moving on. Who coined this? Who started this conversation regarding cisgender? Like, when did this start? Kind of recent. I mean, depending on how young you are. I mean, I know the 90s for some people is like what I would consider to be the 70s. Like I said, for me, the 90s is one that long ago, but I like to just pretend I'm really young. I stopped counting my age after I turned 30. So in English, the term cisgender was coined in 94 in the Usenet news group about transgender topics. On the news group, Dana DeFos, then a graduate student, sought a way to refer to non-transgender people that avoided marginalizing transgender people or implying that transgender people were an other. Which is funny because he found a way to make people to make these people an other by calling them cisgender. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. It just gets wild and more wild and more wild. But ultimately, these are just ways for people to identify themselves as. You know what I'm saying? Whatever label you want to give people to identify them as, this is just all of this. This is all that it really is. It's just ways to identify you. You know what I'm saying? So if because when it gets to a situation where you have to identify a person that committed a crime, you telling the police officer that this person was a cisgendered person, and I'm sorry, the difference between you telling the police officers that the person you're describing is a cis male is gonna arguably make a word of a difference than you telling the police officer that it's just a male, right? So this person would say, okay, well, that rules out all trans folk or whatever from non-queer folk out of the discussion on who participated in the crime. It's it's actually respectable. I believe it's respectable to understand that. You know what I mean? Especially in terms of identifying people, because there is structural use for calling somebody cisgendered. Arguably it is. You know what I'm saying? Will I refer to people as cisgendered or cis male, cis female, cis women, whatever? Most likely not. But I understand the people that use this language. I have no argument against it. For now, at least, I have no argument against it. If you have an argument against it, hey, go crazy. I would love to hear it. So for the most part, sure, we can allow for this. I'll allow this this cis thing, whatever. It's ironic that this person has found a way to make the people that's been calling other people other and other. But I don't know. I guess this person just gets off on giving people a taste of their own medicine, whatever. But sure, whatever. Let's move on. We talked about sex. We talked about gender. Let's talk about some very, very, very important words now. This is the part of the conversation that the pseudo rainbow coalition folks is not going to be happy about. Woman. The definition of women. This is gonna hurt people. This is gonna upset me because the term. Well, you know what? Let me relax. Let me relax first, and then we're gonna get to what is a woman. Matt fucking Walsh. What is a woman? Matt Walsh. All you had to do is Google. That's all you had to do. You did not have to make that. You did not have to make that that documentary. What is a woman to make people angry? All right. You trigger a lot of people, all right? You got people to make 2-hour videos talking about berating you, all right? All you had to do is Google. So, all right. This is what a woman is, man. A woman is an adult female human being. We know what a female is. Don't act like you know what a female is. We saw what a female is. A female is to do with sex. Right? I'm not going to look up the word female. We know what a female is. Female is pertaining to sex. We all know this. Look it up if you want to. Waste your time, waste my time, and having a conversation with me if you want to about the word female. Female is to do with sex as an identifier. Get over it. So, an adult female human being. Why are people calling people that were not born female a woman? I'll tell you why. That's why. They're freaking clowns. Pandering and coddling people's cockamamie ideas and opinions is not helping society. It's regressing us. Get over it. Get over it. You're not a woman. By definition, you're not a woman. All right? That's a tough pill to swallow. I understand. I can sympathize to the fact that may be tough for you. That may be a tough pill for you to swallow. There's a lot of things about my own people that I didn't want to know, right? But I had to swallow those pills. Whatever we understand, whatever we say has to be in alignment with the reality in order for this culture, in order for us to move on as a people. Get over it. Sorry that I had to say it like that. But the people who've been nice to you about, have been calling your feelings and stuff like that, and being sympathetic towards you, as noble as that is, it's not working. And people calling your opinion, your emotions, and your sympathy and your feelings and stuff like that is not progressing us as a society. It's holding us back. There's bigger things we need to discuss in the United States. Way bigger conversations to have other than what a woman is. When it's clear, when it's been the same thing forever. You can't come along and expect people to identify or to subscribe to your ideology or your opinions and stuff like that of something as simple as what a woman is. before I looked up this definition, I actually drank the Kool-Aid. I'm like, okay, you know what? They want to use women as an identifier. Sure, it sounds fine. I can, sure, whatever. I'm okay with that. That makes me feel better. Cool. Them change their names. I kicked against that for a long time. I did. I kicked against calling Bruce, calling Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, you know what? That's what they want to identify as. So I'm trying, right? And then I looked up the word woman, and it blew my freaking mind. I'm like, why are these people trying to change reality? Can't do that. Nobody can do that. You can't, nobody's gonna sympathize. Nobody, no legislation is gonna be crafted on the basis when what you're saying is rooted in actual delusion. That's just the fact of the matter. So all these political figures, these YouTubers, all of these people that are trying to coddle these groups of people in favor of their support or whatever agenda or whatever means of way or reasons for them trying to get money. It's a grift. It's really a grift. It's a grift. It's literally a freaking grift. If you say things that are not in alignment with reality, and you know it's not in alignment with reality, and you cannot expound on the reasons why it's not, I'm sorry, if you can't defend their case that's in a way that's rooted in reality, right? You're freaking grifting. I've heard leftist talking spaces literally say, "Hey, I can't speak to the struggles of these groups of people, but I know I have somebody whom you can talk to." You're a freaking grifter. Why would you subscribe to these people when you yourself don't agree with the things that they're saying? For what? Because you're grifting. Even if it's not just for money. You're doing it for support. You're doing it for followers. You're doing it for power. Visibility. That's what grifting is. We need to stop pretending like this grifting thing is going to get us anywhere. It's causing confusion, and it needs to go. Let's move on. Woman is a dope female human being. A man is the exact same thing, right? I'm gonna have to look up the word man. Look it up if you want to. If you look up the word man and it's more in alignment with what these other people have been saying, the folks with alternative lifestyles are saying, put it in the comment section. Go crazy. Anyway, in the meantime, for now, what these folks have been saying might be right. Why are we wasting time allowing men in women's spaces? These women have a right to feel unsafe because it's literally in the numbers. Men attack women. Men will have to get over that. And I'm not talking about just cisgendered men. I'm also talking about the alternative lifestyle men. Now, don't call them phobic or delusional or paranoid. No, just relax. Understand that men have been attacking women throughout a myriad of generations. Yes, women attack men also, but it's not to the same. It's not equal. Yeah, yes. You can. A lot of people. Yes, you can argue that I'm a pseudo conservative YouTuber or whatever. You can try to call me conservative or Republican if you want to, but fact of the matter is, I still understand what a lot of what the feminists are saying is still true. I'm smart enough to acknowledge that, and I don't grift for anybody. I'm just speaking the truth. Because the truth will set us free. I'm not here to dish out cliches, but what that means is when we align our mentalities with reality, right? When what we stand is in alignment with reality, we can move on to more pressing. We can move on our thought pieces and our efforts onto more pressing matters, like the United States economy.